Hey everyone, welcome back to Dr. DC YouTube channel. If you like this kind of content, I highly recommend to share it with your friends, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Without subscribing and clicking on the notification bell, you won't know when the new videos are posted. All right, let's get back to the business. Sorry that I couldn't post in the last couple of weeks, but I was busy with a few things. And I was also obviously always watching the market. However, I haven't been able to post a video. So let's recap for last couple of weeks what happened and what's going on. The first thing I want to start with is inflation data. So inflation is still going down, and it's inflation is basically showing the data is pretty stable, and it's coming to the 2% level that should basically mark the top for the U.S. federal interest rate. Okay, this is the number one thing that we have been watching since we started the channel is inflation data coming down and US federal interest rate topping out. They actually increased 0.25% last week, and that might be the last one. There might be one more, but I don't see it going beyond unless inflation spikes back up. So that's the other thing I want to show is, I think in one of the videos we talked about how US federal interest rate affects the stock market, right? The US stock market I'm talking about here. And this is the chart I showed previously. This is like the blue line is basically US stock market, and the red, bars are showing the US federal interest rate. So as you can see, uh, when they are very low, the stock market absolutely skyrockets, right? Uh, and when if both of them are going higher, so for example, here it looks like they're both going higher, right? That is basically market rate and anticipating the future cut, right? So right now it's going up because we had infinite liquidity during the COVID time, right? So it's going up but when the federal rate tops, I shouldn't say top, when they start cutting, it will actually, start correcting. This happened actually in 2018, I think, right? Right here. This was a pretty decent drop of like 15% in the stock market. And this happened, after like the, the, the federal rate topped as well. And you can see what happened after that. It basically started. Well, obviously, there's a COVID, quick crash here, but you can see overall the stock market starts going up when the rates are very low. You can see this 10-year cycle here as well, right? So in my opinion, something I mentioned in previous video, if you see this, extreme fear versus extreme greed, we are entering into the extreme greed situation, and as I mentioned in the last video as well, this could keep going for a while, right? And there's a reason behind that, because it wants to confuse you in both direction. It wants to confuse you like how long it's going to keep going up, and it wants to confuse you how long it's going to keep going down, right? uh, in a longer duration, what we are trying to do in the Dr. D.C.A channel is we want to make sure that we don't become too emotional in either direction. If it's really going down and there are capitulation events, we basically try to buy more, and we try to slow down when it's going like skyrocketing like this right now, right? Um, and in my opinion, extreme good news would be the inflation is stable and the US federal government starts cutting the rate. That's when the top would be around. And, market is basically pricing in all events. Now, you might ask, like, what has a correlation with Bitcoin? Well, as we discussed earlier, NASDAQ and Bitcoin, they kind of go hand in hand. And Bitcoin's growth is in this really, low interest rate environment, right? Altcoin definitely needs low, federal interest rate. So in my opinion, the true season would come in 2025 when the rates are back to like 2%, 1%, 2%, whatever the low rate they go with, right? They may not go with zero, with the inflation fears. But when this happens, that's when the Bitcoin shining and the altcoin shining will happen. And until then, there might be slow bleed or stabilization and so forth. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is trend lines matter, right? So what are the trend lines? Trend lines are like the lines you draw on the chart where they closely get followed. So one of the diagonal line we are watching is this for the NASDAQ, right? The resistance line we are watching, we have been talking about the 14,500 sort of level. It tested and now it's trying to break through. This may also take a little bit while. If you see here, this was the resistance around 12.3. It took a while to, you can see like how many times it tried to touch, this area, right? So and once if it takes a while to, sort of break through, and if it does, it actually skyrockets. There's a reason why it's trying to like, it's like a wall that's being like penetrated multiple times, and if it breaks through like some serious force. So last week, another important thing happened is the earnings. We talked about the blue chips stocks of the United States, and they are Google, Microsoft, Netflix, and so forth, right? So Facebook had a very good run earnings, and obviously that's why the stock price is doing pretty good. Similarly, Google had good earnings, so its price is doing pretty good. Microsoft had okay earning, but it's already, as you can see, I want to talk about like trend lines matter, right? So it's around the resistance level of previous all-time high, and that's why it may take a little bit of time to consolidate it over here before the next leg is up, right? The other reason I want to talk about trend line is look at this trend line of resistance Netflix is following, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and around 8 times it's trying to like touch this trend line. And it's playing around in this channel, right? So this week is also going to be important because Apple is going to announce the earning and Amazon is going to announce the earning, right? So considering there were decent earning for like a couple of big stocks, and in my opinion, it might be like mixed market, but chances are if Apple and Amazon both have decent earning, Nasdaq is going to like probably crush through, right? It's going to crush through this area, and it's going to crush through this resistance area and try to play around some over here. If they both, okay, they are big market caps, right? If both of them have like really bad earnings, this could come back down to this level, as we said, and that would be a healthy correction, in my opinion. In fact, if you can see on a broader picture, this might be a reverse head and shoulder sort of a pattern building, and that's a very bullish pattern, right? And whenever it breaks through this line, chances are we actually cross the previous all-time high into NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ is doing great, right? Bitcoin isn't. Bitcoin has been, struggling to break through this resistance area we've been talking about around 30 to 32,000, but it's still on this, trend line. And as I mentioned, Bitcoin likes to do this now. There were a lot of hype of ETF and so forth, and it may correct down, come down, test this around 28,000, or actually make people very negative and come back down here, 25,000, right? In my opinion, you just keep DCAing. It's not a big deal. We are, as I mentioned here, we are targeting, 2025. So it's a slow process. And the reason it's important to understand it's a slow process is because like, if you see like, federal rate around January 2022 was, 2%. it took a while, like around 1.5 years, for inflation to come down from like 9% to like 2%, right? So this is not an overnight thing, and it actually gives you great amount of time to DCA. This portfolio that I'm going to show later on is around like $10,000, which would be another, $20,000 by 2025. And that, so let's say that 30,000 portfolio is around even 20% down from, total money invested 30,000, right? But if that's the bottom, do you understand what kind of money you're going to make when the actual season returns? It's almost going to be 10 times. So you have to play this game in a way when ideally nothing is going on. And this is the time when nothing is actually going on, right? In the crypto market, it's like literally just like no one wants to invest in altcoin, and the interest rates are high and so forth. Stock market is going higher, but crypto is actually doing nothing, right? And right now is a good time, in my opinion, to do D.C.A. Let's do a quick update on what we invest in stocks. So, Coinbase is doing obviously pretty good, 80% up. That's still metal. We have 4 or 5% down, and UiPath. I actually added 50 more stocks for UiPath. And we are around that even, I would say, right? Overall, our portfolio is 35% up, thanks to Coinbase. So let's quickly go and see what's up with Coinbase, right? As I mentioned earlier, Coinbase is basically, again, we are going to go back to a trend line matters, right? So around 120 level was the previous resistance. It almost touched it, and now it's correcting. This is again creating the reverse head and shoulder. Reverse head and shoulder is like, like this kind of pattern, right? And it may do something like this before having another like higher. However, Coinbase has an earning this week, which means if the earnings are very good, then this might just skyrocket. All right. And I believe the 40, 45, $50 was the bottom for Coinbase. We talked about the volume around this area. It's just so massive to hold the price around that level of the bottom, right? And so this might be a potential bottom for Coinbase. And in my opinion, the stock looks legit. And our goal is the altcoin season. When that happens, Coinbase is going to be minting money, and those 2, 3, 4 quarters are going to be like really good earnings for Coinbase. And that would mark the peak, in my opinion, in terms of like the Coinbase as well as the crypto cycle. They always coincide because, that's how Coinbase is making money, right? So that's Coinbase. Let's go and see UiPath. Right here. Okay. So UiPath, in my opinion, it's an AI play. The reason I want to invest in UiPath because it's not doing much. A lot of other stocks have done 4, 5, even more times return. Even Nvidia is an AI play, which is a big market cap. It still went 4 or 5 times from its bottom price, right? And UiPath hasn't done much. And I think UiPath is going to be one of the places where it actually helps to automate the process for a lot of companies with its AI tools. And it's like, what? So if ChatGPT is one of the AI tools that helps you get the answers, but UiPath is going to be like doing the job. So you can just say, hey, scratch through my emails and find me the most important emails, something like that, right? Or there are a lot of orders in your emails. You can just say, hey, go and find the most important clients or most biggest orders and tell me what I need to do, things like that, right? So whenever the actual AI season comes, this is a mini bubble in my opinion, like, sort of people hyping up about AI. The real bubble will come when actually AI is in action, helping the companies improve their revenues and profits and so forth, right? And that would be a big bubble, in my opinion, in this decade sometime. AI would be the biggest bubble that we have seen, in our lifetime, in terms of, prices just skyrocketing. And UiPath would be a beneficiary of that. And it actually follows the model that I watch, which is the IPO, price big correction, and now consolidation. This could take 2, 3 years actually. And the quality companies who do this kind of consolidation absolutely skyrockets when their timing of the bubble reaches, right? So that's UiPath. That's our soccer update. In the crypto portfolio, we are hovering around like 5%. Uh, profit. When I say profit, I mean we have 5% off. We haven't sold anything, right? And honestly, it really doesn't matter for me to go through all the coins right now because, as I mentioned, here we need to wait for this sort of low interest rate level for the altcoin market to boom, right? So I'm not going to go through most of this, coins. Litecoin, a couple of news. Litecoin has an halving event on Wednesday, and I mentioned this. This has been the biggest disappointment, in my opinion. We're still 10% up. I may exit from Litecoin. I don't know how to, think about it in a day or two when the halving approaches. But it has been a biggest disappointment. The CRV is down 20% for a reason. If I go to actually just check that yesterday night, it had some event in terms of like some sort of hack. And this happens in crypto market, by the way. I wouldn't worry too much. This is a bottoming process. Something is going to happen. People are going to come to buy it in, and this looks absolutely dead, in my opinion. But it's going to find some bottom, and then when the next season comes, this will also skyrocket. So I'm not worried too much. Sure, we are 20% down in terms of CRV, but you have to also understand the beauty of it, which is we have multiple assets now. So something is going to be down like this, something is going to be up, like let's say Ocean Protocol, or like um, even we are up 10% in Litecoin, or like 22% up in Uniswap. They even out each other, right? And eventually, overall portfolio is going to find the bottom, and you will start multiplying. What I say, you are in the crypto market to multiply. One big addition was the Chainlink, and I actually want to show Chainlink chart, which is like sort of the trademark chart I look for, right? So let's go to this. Um, what I look for in an altcoin sort of market is if you can see the past, nothingness and a massive run. This was like, I don't know, 100x sort of an opportunity for Litecoin in the previous cycle. But what happened after that? There's a massive crash, and the crash was around 90%, right? In my opinion, the altcoins of crypto world that has some value and it corrects like 90%, but holds around 90% is actually a good thing, because most of them actually goes down 99% or to like, or even like 100% down, like goes to zero, right? So 90% correction is something to watch out for if it's holding, right? And it's actually holding. So what happened? A massive pump, uh, nice dump of 90%, right? And what I call this is like this, falling wedge. It broke out, and this box is representing accumulation, right? It goes into this range and accumulates before like breaking out in the next season. And that's what's happening with Chainlink. And Chainlink is, if we talk about like fundamental, it's very important for all this, decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, CRV that we have invested in. It gives them pricing points, right? This is like one of the simple example, but it could be anything. Someone could be building credit system, to show your credit score on blockchain, and they need some information, and Chainlink would give them decentralized endpoints to show that information, right? In decentralized manner, right? So Chainlink is a very, very important cryptocurrency, and I think it's going to do pretty good in the next round. And we will be watching this accumulation level, and we want to get it in Chainlink as well. Okay, that's pretty much it rounds up what's going on in the stock world as well as the crypto world. We'll see what happens next week. I'll be back with the update next week about what's going on in the stock and crypto world. In my opinion, stock market may still keep going up, depending on the earning of Amazon and Apple. But crypto is looking kind of like not going anywhere, and it may just go sideways. And we're fine with that. As I said, I'm looking for 2025, 2026 season, when the federal rate bottoms. That's it. I'll see you guys next week. Please share the video with your friends, like, comment, follow me on Twitter. I'll put it in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.